What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to basketball, and more importantly, welcome back to another mock draft. We do these every 2 weeks, checking in on the prospects that are kind of catching our eye right now, and hopefully the next great NBA talent. But before we get into all that, make sure that you guys like, subscribe, and comment. I've responded to every single comment to my YouTube channel up to this point, and I intend to keep on doing so. Again, if you leave a comment, I will respond to it. That's just how it works. Trying to make this intro fast, so let's get into the article. I don't know, y'all. I'm just experimenting with shit. Let's see if faster intro affects video performance or anything like that. But anyway, Bleacher Report's got another mock draft for us. We tend to go and look at these every 2 weeks. And for those of you new to the channel, first, hello. About 60% of you are on any of my given videos. One of the things that I do professionally is I run a company that we do basketball analytics and we do consulting. And one of the things that I usually do every year is I join like some sort of NBA team as some sort of draft consultant. So I come in, I scout, evaluate the talent. Now is not the time of the year where I'm focusing on stuff like that. Right now, helping out college teams, helping them kind of get through their season, yada, yada, yada. I'll really start to focus in on these prospects around like probably February is when I'll start to get into that stuff more specifically. So the point of this video right now isn't to be like, oh, this guy's going to this team, right? Or this guy's going to this team, or how's the fit of this? Like, it's too early in the NBA season to really know all of that stuff. So really we're familiarizing ourselves with the prospects and keeping up to date with what's kind of going on. I honestly just don't watch like college basketball for fun. I only do it for work just because I find it a little bit hard to watch sometimes. But with all that being said, let's start to get into things. Who do we think is going to be number one? Is Peterson still kind of like the dude? Isn't he hurt right now? Isn't that part of it? But anyway, let's move on. Darren Peterson is number one. They're comparing him to Anthony Edwards, which we talked about this in the last video. I was like, oh, wow, so is he like really that athletic? And a lot of people in the comments are like, I don't think he's actually like that crazy athletic. He's more so like smooth with how he plays. But Darren Peterson's absence has now reached 6 games. Wow, what's up with him right now, I wonder? Kansas hosting Connecticut on Tuesday, and Cam Boozer and DeBonsa have raised the bar for the 18-year-old guard upon his return. So the other two been hooping, huh? And we got to see this guy come back. Again, I haven't talked to like other scouts whose job it is to like actually pay attention to this stuff like all year. And by the way, none of them are going to give you hard opinions about people until we have more sample size of things. But the couple people I've talked to, they're like, I really like Peterson. I think he's kind of interesting so far, but we'll see what he looks like at some point later in the year. What do we got from the early tape? Peterson has delivered. It's looking like a fairly seamless transition for him. He appeared ultra quick, okay, and slithery getting to his spots. The tough shot making has been shown, particularly from off ball and his catch and shoot game. Hey, the more people that can create off the ball earlier in their careers, I think it's really advantageous to them. Just look at like if you didn't watch the rookie report from this week, I encourage you to do so and go watch the Ace Bailey film that we were breaking down. I think it just helps so much when you know how to play without the basketball early in your career, because you can work on the on-ball stuff like during or whatever. So if you can do shit without it early on, I think that's impressive and valuable. Aggressive defensively, he's already blown up multiple plays. Okay, so he might just be like too good for college basketball, right? He's just one of those guys that he's just involved with everything because he's too physically dominant, right? I mean, 6'6", 205, that's pretty big, right? So fair enough. So Darren Peterson, we're still saying like he's the dude, even though DeBonsa and Boozer have been kind of balling, huh? Okay, fair enough. And the Wizards have the first overall pick right now. We'll see what ends up transpiring from that. I can tell you what team won't have it. It's the Pelicans. Anyway, all right, Atlanta Hawks. We got Cam Boozer, number 2. One thing I keep remembering about this draft class, there's a lot of size, but not a lot of like true bigs, which I find a little bit concerning just hearing that, right? And your boy's got to watch the film and make his decisions on people, right? Like, I got to make my own calls on shit, but we're seeing a lot of these, like, taller dudes. I mean, 6'9", 250 Cam Boozer, awesome, right? That's sick, right? That's a big-ass kid. But if we're not comfortable calling him, like, a true NBA center, and, like, okay, that means you have to play the forward spot, which means you kind of have to be able to, like, put the ball on the floor, maybe create for a little bit at times, or just be kind of like a 3-and-D dude in current NBA times. And look, like, things can always change or whatever, but these kind of tweener position guys, I tend to get a little bit concerned about, but we'll see what the film has to say. Anyway, son of Carlos Boozer, obviously. A Duke's matchup with Arkansas should have been highlighted on scouts' calendars, and Cam Boozer wound up owning the night. Yeah, I've heard he's had some crazy, like, stats or whatever. 18-year-old who poured in 35 points. That, I don't think you guys realize how much that is for college basketball. That's insane. Boozer's combination of power and footwork was too much inside, so he's mostly just dominating people physically, which Yeah, of course, right? He consistently attacked closeouts with decisive first steps. His spin moves and counters were timely and effective each time. Okay, so if he's really reading that stuff, maybe I'm okay with him being more of a forward, right? He buried his 11th and 12th three-pointers of the year, including one off movement, sprinting around the screen to the corner. Ooh, tell me more. Now your boy's getting interesting. The fact that he now leads the nation in box plus minus, which not always the best stat for determining like an individual or whatever, is completely on brand. Scouts are still waiting on Darren Peterson's return, but he may have to exceed expectations to hold off Cam Boozer. We'll see, right? Because again, someone with not maybe as clear of a position versus someone that does, it's a harder sell, right? And then Demean. So it seems like these three are kind of like the main guys, right? Like we got three dudes that we think could be studs in this year's draft. I don't have my opinions. That you guys remember last year I said, hey, top four guys in this class, which in my opinion were Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, VJ Edgecombe. I'm like, I think all of them have all NBA potential, which is extremely rare, especially for someone like me who's usually hypercritical of prospects. To say, I'll be curious to see if I kind of feel that way about these three again, because that would be pretty unprecedented to do that 2 years in a row. Because let's be honest, like, we all overreact to every single mock draft or whatever, every single draft class. We're like, ABC, this class is going to be the best class ever. Shut the fuck up, Billy. This is why we have history class, so people don't make the same mistakes every fucking year. Some classes are good, some classes are bad. It's just kind of is what it is. Some are just average. More often than not too many guys become all NBA because it's very hard. So something to keep in mind there. But Demean, what's he been doing for BYU, and why is he going to end up on the Jazz next year? I'm waiting for that to happen so everyone can put their conspiracy caps back on. 6'9", 18-year-old still, and we're comparing him to Jaylen Brown. Interesting. That's not really what I would have expected, because if you go back and watch like Jaylen Brown college tape, he's just getting up and down the floor like with ease. Like it's a lot of transition stuff. Is that really how he's scoring? After struggling from the floor against Miami and Wisconsin, Demean helped power BYU past Dayton in the second half. He went to work from his signature physical drives in mid-range. He has been extremely effective scoring in ball screen situations by getting downhill with his overpowering frame. Yeah, I've seen like some of his drives like are really powerful. He plays off of 2 feet well. Cool. He can be too reliant on one-on-one play. He is playing for BYU. I know BYU's not like bad or whatever, but something to keep in mind. And he struggled on catch and shoot attempts early on. Okay, something to watch here, because if you got 6'9" and a guy that can do the catch and shoot, you're bumping him up even higher, right? It just is what it is. So, okay, that's good stuff for us to kind of keep in mind. Now, we got Caleb Wilson coming in at number 4. I actually got to watch a full game of his over the holiday break. Who were they playing against? It was during one of the tournaments or whatever that was happening, and I watched him play a game, and we're comparing him to Scotty Barnes now. So he was Jonathan Isaac. Now he's evolving into Scotty Barnes, which that means you went from like defensive forward to defensive ball handling forward is what we're thinking now. Okay, again, 6'10", 215, kind of a tweener, not quite a big. We're calling him a forward. Okay, the idea that the 2026 draft may have a big 4 has been discussed. We think Caleb's that good, huh? Caleb Williams' offensive emergence and production has become a major storyline. Okay, well, because earlier in the season, there's like, yeah, this dude's like elite defensively. Like, he can't really shoot or do other things, but elite defensively. With the freshman averaging almost 20 points. The scoring in college basketball this year is insane. A lot of it because we have a lot of international dudes coming in and playing now, and they're just better and playing smarter basketball, but that's nuts. 58.7% shooting to go with 9.9 boards, 2.1 assists. Wow. Those are some great counting stats. Wilson also has more dunks than anyone else in the country at 28 already. Good Lord. I saw one of the dunks he had in one of those games. I was like, good Lord. Like, hey, long-ass dude. We love to see it, right? He's obviously pretty quick, but he's also earning easy baskets using his handle to get to spots and slice through defenses. All right, you're selling me on it, right? I haven't watched too much of him, but 6'10", slicing through defenses. I better see it when I break down the film later this year, because we're going to do it, right? One of our most popular series last year was our Do They Fit in the NBA videos, where we do scouting reports on like all the top prospects, right? We did 34 of them last year, and we're going to try to do about that many again. So we'll see. We will see. Flashes of high IQ passing and shooting range, plus the defensive tools and movement. You're selling me. That sounds great. Nate Ament, another big forward right here. This is the Risachet comparison. So we've got a 6'10 jump shooter. Basically 6'10", 207. That's a skinny boy right now, playing at Tennessee with at least 15 points in each of their first 6 games. That's impressive. Impressed with his advantageous 6'10 size for creating separation and working from the perimeter, right? Because it's my understanding that he's not necessarily like breaking people down, getting to the rim or whatever. Like this is another like we said, Reese Shea, Michael Porter Jr. type or something where we're hitting a lot of jumpers and shit like that, right? Is that fair? Percentages aside, he's shown clear shooting range and encouraging shot making diversity. Okay, so he's hitting some middies, doing the pull ups. Cool. So dude can shoot. Less success against Kansas and Houston. His lack of explosion, turning the corner, and limited strength has become evident. Yeah, because those are two longer teams, right? So now all of a sudden you got people his size, and he doesn't have like elite quickness or anything to actually break people down. So the size is his biggest strength right now. And hate to break it to you, you're going to get to the NBA, and people are going to be as big as you as well. And they're going to be stronger. So something we'll have to watch there. Like how much effort are we going to have to put into this guy? Do we think he's going to grow and get physically stronger? Like how much can we work on the ball handling skills? That's going to be interesting. On to number 6, where the Thunder have the pick right now. They can't keep getting away with this. They have Jaden Quaintance here. He still hasn't played, right? So, yep, he still hasn't played. Don't really have much to say about him. He was interesting last year. We'll see how he does this next year. But we're thinking maybe more of a true big with this one. Guess we'll see. Koa Pete for Arizona. I've just heard he's like a physically dominant guy. So again, 6'8", 235, true freshman. That's a big boy. That's a very big boy. They're comparing him to Wendell Carter, though. Interesting. I don't know if I'm that interested in 6'8" Wendell Carter. What makes him Wendell Carter? Since scoring 30 points on the opening night against Florida, Pete has remained productive, although more so in a complementary role. Okay, his game and scouting report feel cut and dried, with Pete consistently relying on post-ups, rolls to the basket, catch and finishes, and offensive rebounds. So he's just a physically dominant force that's crushing in college basketball, because guys like this do tend to just crush it in college basketball. That's something with like Boozer as well, where like I can't wait to get into the film on it once we have a little bit more, because it doesn't seem like he has like elite like athleticism or anything, and so he might just be like the most perfectly built college basketball player that we've seen in a while, right? Because the game just is very different. It's extremely different. So if this is kind of just like poor man's Boozer, well, then how much does it translate to the NBA? Pete will clearly divide scouts on his upside, with some likely to buy the tools and polish, where others are going to question the translatability of a 6'8" power forward with limited range. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm saying, right? Because like that, we don't really have space for that in the NBA right now. That's not something that we're all that interested in. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, looks like a big-ass kid. We'll see. Kingston Flemings. This guy's been rising up the ranks a little bit, it feels like. Point guard for Houston. Houston, what a nice basketball program they're becoming. 6'4", 190. People are just so big in this class. And they're comparing him to George Hill. I feel like they did last time as well. He's been one of the freshman's class's early standouts due to his production and specifically scoring and playmaking. He's been efficient across the board, demonstrating tight handle and getting to his spots. Speed. If you're 6'4" and you're fast, I'm interested. If you got body control and all that and touch, like you're telling me that this guy really doesn't have any weaknesses. While he profiles as a lead guard, he's looked comfortable so far attacking closeouts and playing off the ball. So he's a combo guard that can handle. So is this more of like a Donovan Mitchell? Because that doesn't sound like a George Hill to me. That sounds more like a Donovan Mitchell type. But how athletic are we saying he is? We're just saying speed or whatever. A threatening mid-range game with a high release, willing vision and passing IQ. So maybe he doesn't actually like move the ball around that much. Interesting. I'm curious to watch more of this guy, because you're just saying all these good things about him. What's the downside of him? Because that sounds pretty enticing. Anyway, Mikal Brown Jr. This is the one that I continue to be interested in based solely off descriptions. I don't think I've really watched much of his game at all. We have a 6'5", another point guard, and this is the kid that can shoot the shit out of it, right? Mikal Brown Jr.'s 29.5 assists effort against Kentucky has been one of the more validating early season efforts among preseason projected top prospects. He operates with noticeable confidence, bounce to his step, speed, and coordination. That's my thing, man. You 6'5" and you fast? Okay, that sounds good. The shot making may be inconsistent, so it's shaky early on. Okay, so we are a bit of a shot chucker, but it's potent and threatening whenever he's able to rise up. Okay, interesting. On the downside, he takes too many low percentage hero threes. Okay, so yeah, that's something, right? And I always find it interesting because like people will note that as like a negative on a scouting report a lot of the times, to which I'll always be like, well, you could just, when you draft him, tell him not to do that. Like that's really as simple as it is, right? Just be like, hey, don't take those fucking shots no more, dude. Like, let's work on better shots. So you kind of have to look past that stuff a little bit. Obviously, if he's not willing to adjust to things, that's another thing. But if we can get him taking better shots and he's capable of making them, Well, then it sounds like you got a great prospect. LeBaron Filan. Oh, he's moving back up the list. He's one of the few guys that we did have a video on last year. So if you want to see like my full thoughts on him last year, you can, because we figured he would stay in the draft, but he did not. Seems like it's working out for him well so far, being at number 10 on here. They're comparing him to Mike Conley. He reminded me more of like a smaller Anthony Black last season. The second half takeover session against Illinois highlighted his confidence and comfort level operating as Alabama's main option. The early signs of shooting improvement are noteworthy. He'll need to sustain this 3-level scoring to warrant top 10 interest. Yeah, I mean, if he's hitting from the outside now, I'm interested, right? I'm interested. I don't know what the like long-term potential is in this prospect, but I found him interesting. I liked the pace that he played with last year a lot. I found that interesting. Kareem Lopez. Yeah, I've got a couple clients in the NBL, so I always get to see this guy in film every once in a while. But unfortunately, he always gets compared to Patrick Williams, which does not spell good things. But again, another 6'8", 225, 18-year-old that's kind of in between positions. He continues to shoot well, a potentially important development for him. He's already tough around the basket. He's using his strength. Yeah, he looks pretty strong. Needs to improve defensively, and he lacks an in-between game without any post-up skill or a pull-up jumper. I mean, like, if you're not going to give him the ball that much, like, because look, most people just aren't going to have the ball very much in the NBA. They have to play off of other people, right? So if he can do the other things, then I'm interested, right? But that'll be something that's interesting to look into. Darius Acuff, I feel like I see him on like my Instagram feed all the time. Again, I really don't take a look at it, but Stephon Marbury, wow, what an interesting comparison right here. 6'3", 190, so again, still like bigger, like freshman or whatever, which is cool to see. His 21.5 assists weren't enough against Duke. Well, it's Duke, but they did help highlight his exciting shot making and creativity. He looked physical finishing at the rim. That's nice for 6'3". Dangerous with his dribble, changing speeds. If you can change speeds effectively early in your like basketball career, that's going to be like the most effective way for you to score. So for all you like youngins watching, trying to figure out how you can get more buckets on your high school team or something, just work on change of speed. Like get in the weight room, work on things like that, balance, all of that stuff, because that's how you get buckets at that level. Preseason questions about his size or shot selection will disappear if he's able to continue shooting with confidence, avoid contested shots. Like, who's coming in here with the expectations that they're going to play like exactly how they did in fucking high school? Like, it just doesn't make sense, man. Like, it just doesn't. So that's why I really don't watch any like high school film or anything on these guys. It's just not that important. But okay, so another kind of shiftier guard. They're comparing him to Marbury. I find that interesting. Hans. I love Hans Steinbach. I've seen zero film of him, but I just love the name. It's the most German name ever. He's expected to be back in the lineup soon. He's missed a couple games with ankle injuries, and we're saying he's more of like a playmaking type of big, right? He's more of the Şengün type, if you would. His footwork, handling the ball, big rebounding numbers, smart passing. He looks polished, multi-dimensional center. Cool. That's who they have the Bulls taking right now. Fuck it. Let's just have all the white dudes that just want to pass the basketball on this team. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. But are we going to get a guy that can be a rim defender as well, lob threat or whatever? Or are we doing some hub stuff with him? Because the hub's becoming more popular in basketball again, which I'm a fan of. So maybe the perfect time for him to come into the NBA. We'll see. Bennett Sturts, the Iowa kid. Yeah, I got to have some experiences with him this season, which was fun. 6'4", 190, one of the like older guys in the class, probably the first like kind of older dude coming in, right? Multiple year college guy. They're comparing him to Brogdon. That makes sense because he has the ball a lot. He can shoot from the outside, right? Solid handle. Probably not like an elite athlete or anything, but we obviously have a lot of film on him at this point. Is he going to be like skilled enough to do it at an NBA level? We'll see. It looked easy for Sturts even through 7 games against a weak strength of schedule. It picks up in December, though, so I guess we're going to see what happens when he plays against better people. Age will work against him in the draft. It tends to, not as much as people think anymore, and casts a light cloud over his production. At least the NBA teams will see high floor, low risk. Yeah, that's what they say about all like older white dudes like coming in. It just is what it is. But if the dude can get buckets like off ball or whatever, and maybe he can play a DiVincenzo type of role, cool, right? Maybe he can be a secondary playmaker or whatever. I guess we'll see. All right, that's it with the lottery. We're going to move a little bit quicker through this stuff now. Cameron Carr, I don't feel like I've seen this name very much, has been top returning breakout prospect, averaging 22, almost 23 points. Wow, great efficiency. His combination of shot making and explosive bounce creates a projectable off-ball scoring wing at 6'5", but why are we comparing him to Jordan Hawkins then? Though not tight or creative with his handle. Carr manages to get himself looks by just using his first step, long strides, and serious elevation on his pull-ups, followays, and three. Okay, so he's not necessarily going to the rim. Okay, it's just quick first step jump shot. Now I see the Jordan Hawkins comparison, right? That's interesting. Okay, that doesn't scream anything too much to me. He's really light too. I mean, he's 20 years old and he's only 175. Interesting. So yeah, okay, now I'm really seeing the Jordan Hawkins in him. You're not selling me much on him. Chris Sinak, he's our Kel'el Ware comparison, right? That's kind of what we were thinking. They're calling him Bobby Portis now. 6'11", kind of wants to be on the outside of the court a little bit more. Can shoot, can be a run, jump, and dunk. Maybe a bit of a tweener. I feel like put him in the right NBA system, maybe stuff works out for him, but I guess we'll see. He's hitting followays from the post and rhythm threes. He's also settling around the perimeter often. So that's kind of the thing, right? Like, are you going to be physical enough to actually go down and do something like in terms of like cutting to the rim, going up and finishing through people, right? That's where it's interesting. And that's where I get nervous, right? Because 6'11", 240, that's great for an 18, 19-year-old, but it's concerning that we can't just put you at a big, right? I'm like, okay, you're not a big, why not? Like, I don't know. Those are just the questions I have. A lot of those guys in this class. Braylon Mullins, has he played yet? Is back from injury and figures to be eased in slowly. That's sure, that's fine. Okay, we're just talking about high school stuff still. Okay, still too early to talk about this kid. He's just kind of getting into the flow of things for UConn this year, but we're calling him 6'5" Peyton Pritchard. A 6'5" Peyton Pritchard would be one of the deadliest scorers in the NBA, so we'll see. We'll see. Matt Abel. Interesting. Where are we? I'm not sure I'm familiar with this guy. NC State. Tell me about him. 6'6" Landry Shamet, another 18-year-old. Abel's shooting is the draw. If you're comparing him to Landry Shamet, I would hope so. But he's also operating with notable sense of poise and intelligence. He's taking smart escape dribbles into pull-ups, using fakes to drive to open lanes, blah, 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 blah. Just because you can dribble in college doesn't mean you can do it in the NBA, right? Like, I think that we know that that's clear, right? It's just a simpler brand of basketball in college. And that's where we knocked like Con Knipple a little bit more. Like when we were evaluating him, we're like, I don't know if he's going to be able to really handle the rock like that at the NBA level. So far, it's been very, very good, honestly. So kind of interesting to take a look at those guys and see what they'll become. So when we watch this guy at some point, if he's still kind of a first round talent, we'll be like, hey, is he maybe a secondary playmaker or something, or is he just a shooter? I guess we'll see. Tunde Yesafu. I just like this guy. Again, I haven't watched a ton of film on anybody, but I just like the physical body of him. 6'5", 215, 19-year-old. Like the Cam Whitmore thing, I can kind of understand. Seems like he's just attacking the rim like relentlessly or whatever, but something about like the physical frame of this dude excites me. So I guess we'll see. Dame Sarr, he's kind of the athletic slashing 3-and-D dude for Duke. Fair enough. They're calling him Justice Winslow. Spot up shooting, transition finishing, point of attack defense. Sounds like a 3-and-D modern NBA wing. Cool. We're at pick 20, right? It's not going to be anything like otherworldly at this point. Malik Thomas for the Razorbacks. Yep, kind of the combo guard. Yep, I remember him. He had a 26-point game against Winthrop. Shot making, aggressiveness, confidence as a scorer. So yeah, Jordan Clarkson, I can see the comparison there. Neoclis Avdalis. I've had people ask me to watch film on him, and I'm excited to do so. So we got a Hito Turkoglu appearance right here. So 6'9". Apparently this guy likes to have the ball a lot. We're getting some Luka type vibes where it's like, okay, forward, like a point forward, but he seems like he's actually pretty quick as well and pretty smooth with things. So I'm curious to see his 33.6 assist game against Providence. Damn. He struggled from the floor since, often missing shots as a result from taking difficult self-created jumpers. How good is Virginia Tech, right? That's kind of the question. Because he's not a quick twitch athlete, there figures to be some skepticism around translatability. Well, if you're good enough with your fundamentals, it doesn't matter. Just ask Luka Doncic, right? But for 6'9", forward, his scoring versatility and playmaking will remain the obvious draws. Okay, I'm looking forward to watching him. Lendeborg, yeah, we watched a lot of film on him last year. We knew he wasn't going to go into the draft. Reminds me of Kyle Kuzma still, is kind of like a forward that can handle the ball a little bit, can hit from the outside. He's strong, can go to the rim. He's a guy I'll be interested to kind of watch him play at Michigan this year and see how he translates, because he was an interesting prospect even in last year's draft, which was a very good one. Mara from Michigan, he's kind of hooping now, isn't he? NBA teams may not focus as much on the scoring. Yeah, because look, if you're fucking 7'3" in college, yeah, you're just going to get some buckets and it's not going to be as easy in the NBA. It's his ability to facilitate from the post, earn second chance points, and protect the rim. Those all sound like good things for a backup big. Very cool. Isaiah Evans, the shooter. Yeah. AJ Griffin comp. Fair. Another Duke guy like that. Isaiah Evans' minutes are up this year, but his role hasn't changed much. I wouldn't imagine it would be. There's a lot of good players on the team again. He's an off-ball scorer, setting screens, dribble handoffs, threes, and drives. That's fine. We need guys like that in the NBA. Cool. David Mirkovic. Yeah, the Illinois guy. I kind of had a feeling this guy would find his way up here at some point. The Luis Scola comp. I love this. Can we have him grow his hair out too? Scouting departments figure to be split on him because of his obvious skill level and feel versus his blatant lack of explosion. And this is exactly what I wanted to see, right? Because I'm guessing, because my dad's an Illinois fan, so he likes to tell me about Illinois all the time, and he'll always tell me, oh, this guy or this guy. If you guys want to watch good like college basketball, by the way, go watch some Illinois, because they have so many like international dudes. They play some pretty good basketball. I like it at least. Yeah, not the greatest athlete on this guy, but high skill level footwork that's going to translate well in college basketball. Curious to see. He's been a 3-point threat during or dating back to his years in blah blah blah. His handle and footwork are advanced. Yep. NBA interest will fade if he struggles to consistently execute during conference play. But he has the type of clever maneuvering, instincts, and shot making that scouts may want to bet on outweighing the athleticism and defensive issues. Interesting, but again, another guy. He's big, but is he like an NBA big? We'll see. Caden Boozer, yeah, I like the Tyus or Trey Jones comparisons. I think he could definitely be that in the NBA. I'll be curious to see where he lands, because at first he was like a lottery pick at the beginning of the season. We're seeing him fall a little bit more. Braden Burries for Arizona, yeah, the Q Grimes, kind of the secondary playmaking shooting guy. Yep, I remember him. I'm learning these names, y'all. I'm learning these names with you. By the way, if you got takes on these dudes, let me know. Thomas Haw, I saw someone put him in a lottery the other day, and I remember watching him last year, and I was like, whoa, really? They're comparing him to Mamu, though, and we're putting him at the small forward now, so we're saying potential wing even for this kid. Interesting. So what I saw last year didn't impress me very much, if I'm being honest with you, but sounds like we got something more this year. 27-point game against Arizona. I remember that. He's up to 18 points, 8 boards, and 3 assists. Okay, I guess we'll see. Could be a stretch 4 archetyped. I guess we'll see. I'll be curious. Zuby Ejif. I don't know how to say, but I've seen him play at St. John's. 6'9" Montrezl Harrell type, very good comparison for him. I think that's a good one. All right, what else do we got? Second round guys. Anybody that's really standing out to us? Flory Badunga's back into things. Like, people thought this dude might just come in and crush college basketball at one point. How's it going for him? High-ranking executives from across the NBA watch Badunga out-jump and out-maneuver Duke's bigs for finishes around the rim. Yeah, he's a physical specimen. Yeah, I love the Biyombo comparison. I think that's a great one for him. Pettiford. Okay, we're back seeing him like in the draft or whatever. I know he had a rough start to the season. He was really intriguing to me as a prospect last year, but it seems like some off the court issues, maybe not some great performances so far this season, caused him to drop a little bit. He'll be a name to watch. Christian Anderson, Miles Byard, we talked about him a bit last year. Juke, cool name. Patrick Njongba, okay. De La Reyna, Dash Daniels, talked about him a little bit. A lot of these guys familiar names here. Nothing too crazy here. And again, that's probably because it's early in the season. We haven't had time to really find like the sleepers yet or anything, so we're recycling a lot of names from last year. Stojakovic, do we really think he's going to the NBA this next year? It feels like he'd just stick around and keep getting a bag, right? Let's see. Paul McNeil, Donnie Freeman, Richie Saunders. Okay, Nothing too crazy here. Nobody that's really standing out to me too much. Ivisic, I do find Ivisic interesting. Big dude, really good skill set. He could be one for me. Braden Smith, they always use the most fucked up picture of my boy there. But regardless, okay, that's this mock draft, y'all. Again, just getting familiar with prospects at this point. That's really what we're doing, trying to figure out what's going on, what's the word, what are people thinking, right? It's still too early to tell too much, so if you have too strong of opinions, I encourage you to ease back a little bit, be like, this is what I'm seeing right now, we'll see where it is at the end of the season, right? But with all that being said, let's move on to the comment of the video. Alrighty, y'all, comment of the video is coming from our rookie report video this week, where we really feature guys like Ryan Nembhard, Danny Wolf, Ace Bailey. Ryan Nembhard film is fun. Definitely go give it a watch. But the comment of the video comes from Jack Swanson here, a frequent commenter on the channel, that said, I just want to say YouTube gave me my year recap. I had mine this year too. It was kind of a cool thing that they did, and I was their #1 channel I watched this year. I watched a decent amount of YouTube, so that's saying something. And I got a couple of these, honestly, and that's kind of crazy for me to think about, because the fact that you guys are choosing to spend this much time with me, one, it's just like, thank you. That's so nice of you guys to to want to spend that time, because your time is valuable, and I really tried to make it valuable, or whatever. But just thank you guys for like the interest that you show. I know I've got kind of a unique perspective on things because I just work within this stuff, and I am a professional in the space, and I do try to bring a little bit more value to these videos or whatever. Even ones like this, we're just getting used to things. Like, that's kind of my real world process for this. It's like, okay, we're just watching, we're listening right now, and then once we get a sample size, we're going to attack it really hard, right? And we're going to learn everything we can about these guys. So I'm just, I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy to think that people are watching me that much. So thank you guys very much, as always. I really appreciate it. And hope you enjoyed this Saturday video. Sorry, I was sick. Hopefully I'm better by the time this video comes out or whatever. I'm still sweating and gross right now, but hopefully you guys are having a good weekend. I very much appreciate you guys. I'm going to go get some work done and try to dab my sweat away. But yeah, we'll see you guys on Monday for another video. Thanks so much. Bye.